Hi, this is Latanya with Imreikinow. Have you ever thought about having a Reiki session? Have you heard about Reiki and you're like, sounds interesting, but I'm not quite sure it's something I want to get into. It sounds a little, I don't know, out there and foo-foo. Well, let me tell you, Reiki is not out there and it's not foo-foo. It has been practiced for so many years in Japan, and now it's like over here. And although it's becoming very popular and a lot of people are trying to do it, not everyone is gifted to do it. I'm going to be really honest with you. You have to be so clean when you're practicing Reiki. You know, there's no smoking, there's no alcohol. You know, your meats are like, some people have stopped eating meat altogether, and if you do, you're eating light meats and stuff when you get ready to practice and when you're meditating, and you have a lot of cleansing out and a lot of fasting and everything, just so you can have as clean a body as possible so that the energy is moving through quickly and you get even more energy coming through. So it it's a lifestyle, and you can't have a lot of negative energy around you and in you, because Reiki will just start cleaning and moving it out. And so I say that it's not easy for a lot of people, because you lose friends or people who you thought were friends and you lose connections because they're not for you and they're not going to help you and move to your higher purpose. So a lot of people don't want to do Reiki, or when they get into it, they start like backing away when they realize like it's a whole lifestyle change. Another thing is that some people, because we're all born with gifts, let's be clear, we all have a special gift, and we all have, like, in our youth probably had dreams or prophecies, or we had feelings, our intuition was like extremely high, or we could like just know what was about to happen, and then we sort of like along the way lost it. So these gifts like come back with Reiki, and they're so enhanced and they're so strong. And some people have visual gifts where they see things that may not be there for us, but it's definitely there for them, and it's just a visual manifestation of the energy, whether it's good or bad. And sometimes people get frightened and they don't want to deal with it, and so they back away from Reiki, whether they're practicing as a healer or they're even having a session, because it can happen both ways. I've seen it happen both ways. And so I know. Also, there are people who start maybe hearing things, and I don't mean like, oh, crazy. I mean like they're actually hearing like phrases and words that warn them, help them, teach them, and that can sort of freak people out, and they back away. I don't. I love it. I think it's like the best thing ever, because I know that what I'm getting is good and positive energy, because Reiki does no bad. It does no evil. It does no harm. So when there are people who say, oh my God, there's the spirits and that's the devil and this is this, it's not true. It's not true at all with Reiki, because if you do any little thing that's negative, Reiki stops. If you think bad thoughts, it stops. If you try to use it to harm someone, it stops. It's impossible to do anything negative or bad with Reiki. And that's why I know that when people say, and when it's described as, and I say it also, as God energy, it really is God energy. It is the best type of energy that will help you, that will guide you, that will lead you. But your gifts are your gifts are your gifts. So if you are seeing something that's not there, but it is there, and it might be something that is a blockage or negativity that's clearing, then yeah, it might be scary, but it's clearing. It's not, it's moving out, and that's your gift. Your gift is visual. Some people, if you hear, yeah, it's scary and it's freaky, especially if you're in a room by yourself or you're at late at night and all of a sudden there's this warning coming. You're like, whoa, what's going, what's happening? But you get used to it, and you understand that it's like your spirit, and it's like your guides and that energy communicating with you and telling you things. And and worldly beings all around you, and it's okay, and you're fine with it because you understand that it's guiding you towards goodness and greatness, not towards anything bad and negative, and it's no trick, you know, it's absolutely no trick. So that's why I say, like, sometimes people get a little afraid and they move back. But if you continue, and if you want to keep learning and you want to keep growing, whether you're the person on the table getting a healing session or you're that healer, then the doors are so open for you. Like, they just come open and the windows fly up and all good things come through, and you walk into that light and that beauty. And it's an amazing experience. The peace, the serenity, the calm, the happiness that you start to get is inexplicable. It's inexplicable. That's not unexplicable. It's not a word. It's inexplicable, and you're just so happy about it. And so let me tell you, it was a very spiritual day for me. I had a client, and she was amazing. She has so many gifts. She has prophetic abilities. She has like empathic abilities, clairsentient abilities. I mean, everything was going on the table. Like, nothing was off limits, and everything was like a smorgasbord of goodness. And so as we're going through this session, like, all her gifts are coming up and out, and I'm calling them out as they come. I said, oh my God, you have so many gifts. It's amazing. And she got so many messages in this session, not just from me, but from like her guides, like around her. Because when I get a message, it's literally my spirit talking to your spirit, and me getting a download of all the things that it wants to tell you, but you're not listening to. Hers just started like telling her immediately in the session, and it was just more and more cleansing, and it was just clearing the blockages. And it was just a beautiful experience. Like, she got really cold in the room, which is like more and more energy flowing and going through her body. And that happens with Reiki. And especially like holy fire. People think holy fire, you just get really hot, and you start burning and sweating. And yes, that does happen. However, the opposite side is also this coolness, this like iciness that's going through your body. And it's not like air conditioning. It's not like, oh, I'm out, side and it's cold. It's like, there's just this cool energy moving up and down your body. And I'm gonna tell you, like I say, I practice Holy Fire 3 Reiki, and also I'm Holy Fire 3 master, and then also a Karuna Reiki master. So I always describe this, and I'll forever say it, that Holy Fire 3 is like this giant like fist that's coming in, and his hand that's reaching in and pulling out every single blockage and moving it out again and again. And it's like, sometimes it's nice and sweet, and sometimes it's painful and it's like, whoa, what just hit me? And Karuna is like this little tiny surgeon's knife that comes into these little tiny areas of your body and your organs and your energy channels, and goes pop, 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 and just totally like moves little tiny things away. So, and then you're just like, oh, a needle prick here, and oh, a little pin here. so it's so different. And she experienced all of that in the session. And it was like a beautiful kind of thing. And she released, and sometimes a release can be a teardrop. It can be full-on sobbing. It can be like laughter. It can be an itch somewhere. Yeah, I know, weird, but it's true. It could be an itch. It could be like pain, like literally feeling pain in your chakras in your body, or you just want to scream and you want to just yell and you want to shout and you want to just get it all out, and you want to sing, and so, those things happen, and those things can happen all the time, and they do happen all the time for multiple people in a session, because as that energy is moving through you, I may be at your heart chakra and your throat, or at your third eye, or your crown, or your ear chakras, or even the back of your head, the chakra back there, or I could be hit your like your solar plexus and your sacral, just in case you didn't know what it was, or your root chakra, which is further down between the pelvis area. I'm not standing up for that. So you know, and then the energy, you could feel it here in your shoulder, or you could feel it at the bottom of your feet, because it'll go where it needs to go to clear up those blockages to help you. And those blockages can be something that's an emotional trauma. It could be a memory. It could be actual physical pain that you might have suffered that just hadn't healed. It could be an attachment. And when I say an attachment, I don't mean just like a spiritual attachment, although that can happen. It can be like an emotional attachment that you've gotten from somewhere, from someone, whether it's an experience in school, it's an experience with a relative, a friend, an ex, like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or, you know, or a parent, or just a regular stranger off the street who offended you, and you like really took that in. Or a coworker or a boss, like all these people, everyone in your life, or your child, everyone in your life can leave you with an attachment if you take it. And when I say take it, like meaning like you really allowed that to penetrate into your aura, and then come into your space, and then hit you in your heart or in your gut, you know, and then it just like floats and it stays there, and then it can just move like into an organ, and it can move into a tissue or even your bone. It'll just stay there and just like almost ferment, you know, like a fermentation kind of process. So it's there, and then you're wondering why sometimes in certain situations I feel a pain here or my neck, it's just really hurting. And yeah, you think, oh, I'm just typing so much and I'm always at the computer at work, and that's what it is. And then your shoulders start moving up and you're just coming in and your body is tightening. These are all like symptoms of just attachments coming in, because now you're letting something take over, and you shouldn't. And what Reiki does, this will start moving down. You know, that pain and that pressure and that stress that you're feeling in your neck starts releasing and moving out. You know, that you not having a voice, not being able to speak and say the things you want to say or communicate in a certain way, in a positive way instead of a negative way. You'll feel your throat like tighten, or you'll feel it open, or you'll feel things moving up and out. You know, this is what Reiki does, and you feel it. When I say you feel it, I mean like you feel it. I don't mean like it's in your imagination, and I don't mean like I will imprint it on you or someone else will imprint it on you. Like you physically feel it happening to the point where you're just like, oh my goodness, what's going on? And some people are frightened by that because they've never experienced it, and some are like amazed by it and laugh, and they're just like, what is going on? What's happening with my body? And it's just that clearing. And I want to tell you, like, it's a beautiful thing. I personally had like pain when I cleared. It was a lot of pain, and sometimes there was like a feathers and that I felt on my body, or a cool breeze, and sometimes I got so hot I was like, I'm sweating, I can't, it's too much. Or I felt like I was burning inside out, and it wasn't menopause. I'm just gonna tell you, I feel like I was like burning inside out, and it was like straight up like energy moving up and down my body. And so, you know, it's different for each person. And then sometimes I would just like hear like these messages telling me things that I need to do to help myself, or I would have these prophetic dreams and they would come true. So, you know, it's different. And this is what I'm saying, like when I was cleaning, because as you go through the process and as you get in attunement and everything, your body, like I said, you have to be clean. So Reiki starts cleaning out all your issues and problems and past life stuff and, you know, future life stuff, and opening doors for you, and releasing, and you like lose a few friends and you gain a lot more who are better for you. And so these are the things that happen when you have a Reiki session, or you're a Reiki healer, and you have to be prepared for And if you're not prepared for it, then just have an open mind. Don't push it away. Like someone told me like, oh, I'm starting to get so mad and I feel all this anger. And I said, okay, release it. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, don't push it back in. You know, it's coming out. Let it come out. How do you want to express this anger? And he was like, I want to shout. I want to yell. I'm like, shout, yell, scream, holler, do whatever you need to do. It's not going to stop me from doing my Reiki. It's not going to stop me from moving the energy. It's not going to stop the energy from moving, because that's what it wants you to do. So do it. I've had clients who are on the table, and as we're going through, and I'm going through the chakras, and I'm going to like different parts of their body and the organs and stuff, because I go where the energy takes me. I'm very like, there's a set formula that people learn, you know, to go through this little procedure, where to go and where to touch. And I do that, but I'm also very intuitive. So I go where the Reiki takes me, and I go where my spirit tells me to go. And, you know, in my sessions, you can talk. You don't necessarily have to be quiet, because talking helps to, honestly, I feel like it helps move energy even more and bring out those emotions even more. And you're talking and that motion is coming up, I feel it even more. So it's like stronger in that my Reiki, that it's just flowing even more so, and we're just cleaning it out. And I know I'm saying more so a lot, but that's just a word I like. So like, you know, he's like screaming and yelling, and as he's doing so, his heart chakra is just opening so wide. And there's so much energy just flowing in from my hands, that I'm like there for like 10-15 minutes, just letting the energy flow. And when he was calm, when he was done, when he had released all of that, like the energy, like all of a sudden it was just like, psh, it just stopped. He goes, I feel so much like better. I'm so calm. I said, yeah, the energy stopped. You know, yeah, you needed that. You know, you had so much, he held so much in his heart, because he wasn't speaking and saying it, and he was feeling it, but he wasn't releasing it. And so that just allowed him to get out all that anger, all that frustration, all that disappointment from like his childhood all the way up. And he was just like feeling like so much better. Now, I'm not saying the session stopped there. We continued. There was like so much more, you know. There was a lot of stuff that was going on with work and with coworkers and people in his life, and exes and stuff, and like family members and everything. And so that was him like letting it out and releasing, and his body went from like hot, you know, like he was on fire, to cold, like he was freezing in Antarctica or something, to just feeling like sensations moving all throughout his body, from like having like a like he said, like bubbles all in his stomach in the sacral area. He's like, I feel like there are bubbles just moving, going over and over and over, and like his foot like itching. He's like, oh, all of a sudden my foot is like starting to itch, or he felt like something sharp just like got pulled out of his side. And I understood everything he was saying, because I've seen it happen to other people. I felt it myself. And I just let him know, you know, that's just the energy. It's moving, it's cleaning, it's clearing, you know, and this experience and these things are what sort of freak people out about Reiki and about energy healing. But I think it's because they don't really understand what's happening with their body. And they don't understand that that spiritual element it's real. You know, people say, well, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian and I don't believe in that, and I'm with God, and that, you know, that sort of seems demonic and satanic. And I'm like, well, you know, in the Bible, by the way, I grew up like Bible Belt South, so you know, that kind of stuff doesn't fly with me, because I can tell you, I tell them, like, in the Bible, There are gifts. God has gifts, discernment, prophecy, everything. There are gifts that people have that are in the Bible. This is the same thing. You know, you believe in Jesus and Jesus did miracles, but you're saying that, you know, that was all, that's all that energy was left, that nobody else received it. There were gifts that were given to us, you know, from the Holy Spirit, and there were gifts that were given to us from Jesus, and we aren't using them because this is God energy. This is our connection. This is like a pure connection to this God energy, because this is love. This is peace. This is acceptance. This is hope. This is happiness. You know, this is like self-assuredness. This is like you can breathe. You know, have you ever been in a situation where all of a sudden you realize I'm not even breathing because it is just taking the breath out of you in a negative way? No, that's not Reiki. Reiki lets you breathe. There's no judgment. It's nothing except for pure, utter love and care. And this is what I like to tell people who yell and say, like, I'm a Christian and I'm with God. And I'm like, well, then you should understand Reiki more than anyone, because this is God energy. This is pure. There's no judgment here. There's nothing but love and acceptance and helping you to be your authentic self and moving you in the right direction so that you're happy. And if you're happy, that happiness spreads out to like everybody else around you. And then they are happy and their happiness spreads out, and you know, that's the domino effect, right? So that's what I want to get clear, and I want to say with people. So I'm all about people getting in with Reiki. I'm all about people experiencing it. And if you have a fear of it, then I want you to like try to get over that fear and just experience it and go for it. Because Reiki will help to release that fear. There should be no fear in your life, because this plane of existence is for us to be happy, and is for us to do our best to help each other, to love one another, to accept each other. You know, we're the ones who always separate and want to like see something different, because you know, we're insecure and we have these issues that are placed upon us by society. And if we just think more spiritually and not materialistically and not like in this realm, then you'll see that those things, like, yeah, they're great to have, but that's not the most pressing thing. You know, there's this person who I was speaking to, one of my students, not too long ago, and we were discussing how, yeah, it's a beautiful thing to be successful and to be able to do certain things and to have enough money to help and to grow and to put some good roots down in this world. And then, you know, she mentioned that, you know, but money can also corrupt and pollute and everything else. And I was just like, yeah, that's true. I said, but that's the beauty of us and being Reiki healers. It's that we understand that difference and that dynamic. And we know that it's not, our first priority is always like the spiritual. It's always that energy, that healing. And then everything else comes second, third, fourth, and fifth. So that's the difference. We're taught so much, like, you have to be a success, you have to make a certain amount of money, you have to do this, you have to look this way, you have to act that way. And truthfully speaking, like, yeah, I mean, it's great to look good, it's great to dress nice, it's great to be able to treat yourself from time to time, but that spiritual aspect has to be right there and in tune with that higher source. Because when that is, then everything else just falls into place. And that's what I want to say. Like, get rid of that fear and think of it that way. Think of it that way. Okay? Like, if you're like, oh, but I'm with the Bible, I don't want to go against God and this and that. And I'm just like, you know, if this energy was not God energy and not derived from something of goodness, then like, it wouldn't work. Like, none of us would be here and doing this, and we wouldn't be the way we are and we wouldn't clear out certain things, people wouldn't be like happy, and they would not be like, oh my God, I found my path, or I feel so much at peace, and or I understand certain things now, I see this world for what it is. You would still be under that veil of disillusionment or illusion. Let's put it that way. The veil of illusion. Some of you know what I mean. And so you want to dispel that, and part of that is the fear. You really shouldn't, there should be no fear. Part of that is anger, frustration, hate, jealousy, envy. You know, there's a reason why it's the 7 deadly sins, right? There's no such thing in Reiki. Those things don't exist for us because it's just helping higher source. It is pureness and goodness. And I'm not saying, like, as humans, of course, we have, you know, we get upset. We have like anger and frustration, and, you know, but it's a different way of feeling it. Like, you're disconnected from that emotion. It's there, but it's like around you. It's not inside you. And then Reiki will clean it out so fast that you might have a second of, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm not really mad, but I feel like I have to say something because otherwise they won't understand how important this is to me, you know? So I mean, that's what I want to say. I mean, I want to say, like, this, I just want, like, pretty much everyone to do Reiki, and I want everyone to, like, experience it, but experience it in a good way. I'm not going to say that there aren't people out there who are just like, you know, hey, give me the money and let's do this really quick and get out my door so I can get the next one in and this and that. And that's true. That's everywhere. You have that. But there are those of us who have a higher calling and source, and who really live and walk this walk. And we live in a way where this energy is around us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether we are conscious or not, because I feel Reiki in my sleep. I have Reiki dreams, you know, so I know that that's possible because I've experienced it, and I know others who are the same. So it's just a matter of finding the right person to do it. It's a matter of, like, feeling people out. I even have some of my clients, I'm like, hey, you can go somewhere else. It's okay. I don't mind. Go somewhere else, try someone else out, see how they are, what the difference is. And, you know, and if you want to come back, I'm here. And if you don't, that's fine, because I am a firm believer in my clients are my clients, and who's for me is who's for me, and who's for someone else is for someone else. I've turned down people, and I've, you know, recommended other Reiki healers for them, or, you know, or I just was like, no, you're not ready. Because there are times when people just aren't ready. They want to do it, they want to experience it, but spiritually, they're not there. They really aren't, and they fight you. Like, it's like a spiritual battle in the Reiki room where it's so crazy, because you're just like, you're here and you say you want to do it and you're open, but like, why do I have to push through this spiritual wall? And I don't believe in doing that, because I never want to put my spiritual dominance on someone else. So I just let them know, if you don't drop the wall, then we might as well just call it a day. It's not going to work. There's nothing that's going to happen for you, because you keep pushing. I feel you pushing me away. Like, you're literally like, I feel like my body wants to just move away from you. You're repelling me. And you're asking, do you still charge? Nope. I don't. I mean, why? There was nothing that was done. There was no benefit. So no, I don't. And those people who say, well, I want to keep going, I want a session, I'm like, you don't need it anymore, you know, or, you know, you're just not there yet. So, I mean, so you just feel it out, try different people. It's a beautiful thing when it's done right, and when you're with the right person as your healer and everything. And it's a very symbiotic, it is a symbiotic kind of relationship. Think about it. Like, I'm channeling energy that's all around us, this universal God energy. I'm channeling it into your form, your aura, your energetic body, your physical frame, and it's passing through me to you. So we're connected in that moment in time, which is why Reiki healers have to like disconnect. We're both bonded, and our spirits become one, and we're joined together in the spiritual union of healing. And so I love it when someone is so open. You can feel I mean the beauty of that person being so open and allowing as much energy to flow into their body and heal them. It is such a calm and relaxing type of environment. Even when they're yelling and screaming and crying and hollering and doing that, the air, the atmosphere is so peaceful. And I feel like so many angels and guides and spiritual beings in the room, like placing their hand out just like me, or on different parts of not just their body but my body, and it's healing, and it's so I don't know, it's just like, it's like the ultimate pleasure of being like in a space of stillness and feeling like you're in this little universe of peace and serenity and beauty. And then on the opposite side, you have like someone coming in who's just like, maybe like they want to do it, but they're scared, or they're this and they're that, and they're fighting. And you're like struggling, trying to get that, you know, beautiful space to develop. And it's hard, but you know, eventually, of course, it always does, because you know, that's what Reiki is. As long as that person starts opening, even if it's a little bit, it, you know, it'll move in and say, okay, if that's as much as you want me to do, then that's as much as I'm gonna do. And, you know, and that's fine, because everyone has a different stage and everyone has a different walk, right? And so it's still a healing moment. But again, those people with the brick wall that just won't let anything in, then you really have to call it. You can't just force it. You can't do that as a healer. And if you feel that happening and you're on the table, then you just say, look, I don't feel comfortable. Let's just stop it and let that be it. Because again, I'm gonna tell you, if you don't feel comfortable and it's not working for you, and you're like, I don't feel anything, it's because Reiki has stopped from, so whoever is doing the session, it's there's no more Reiki, and you don't want to continue that session with someone, you know, trying to find Reiki for you or whatever, or trying to like make it happen, because then they're gonna start using their energy. And let's be honest, there's no pure energy in us human beings unless it's coming from the universe, and that's it, and channeling out to you. That's the only pure energy you'll get. Like, I would never want to use my energy to try to heal someone else. Now, I might use my energy to heal me, which is what I used to do before Reiki, but I wouldn't like really want to try to do it for myself. Even when, let me put it like this, even when I was like using healing on other people, I was so drained and it took so much out of me, and I would literally just go reach in and feel spots on their body that were like too hot or too cold, or I felt like someone was pushing against my hand, or something I should say was pushing against my hand, and I would reach in and I would pull it out and I would offer it back up to the universe. So I was doing that kind of stuff, but at the very end of all of that, I felt like someone had reached into my body, pulled it, and offered it back up to the universe. I felt like I was the one who was like getting the session, and I was just like, so like, oh my God, this is so much. I'm so tired. I need to go to sleep. You don't want that, because and then who's to say like, okay, so I'm pulling it out, but I'm not putting in anything good. That's the difference. Reiki like puts in like such good universal God energy, and it cleans everything. So when someone says, well, I know how to heal, I've been doing it, or my mom taught me how to do it, I know how to do it, I can pull out energy, and you haven't been attuned, and you haven't been, your energy channels haven't been opened up and connected to a universal source, all you're doing is using yours, right? You're using your energy and pulling out, and you're just, it's just not as pure, it's not as clean. So if you're on the table and you start feeling a weird kind of way, just end it. Just call it a day. Call it a day. And if you're a Reiki healer and you know that the energy has stopped, then call it a day and don't charge that person. Just release them. And if you need that money that much in that universal exchange, then at least give like 50% off. I mean, it's only fair, because I think that there has to always be this balance going in the universe, and so you just have to do it that way. If you don't, it's going to come from somewhere else, and I prefer to keep it a nice even balance. You know what I mean, those people. You know what I'm saying. I prefer to keep it a nice even balance, and to let things work out the way they should work out, because it's just the right thing to do. So long of the short, I know this was a long video about like Reiki sessions and healing and stuff, but there's so much to say about Reiki, and there's so much to discuss. So I just want to, again, just talk to you as if we were in a room together having this conversation. And if you are just one of my clients, or a friend or associate, or just anyone off the street who said, hey, yo, what's Reiki, girl? And I just want to have that discussion with you, so that you get it and you understand it. If you have any questions, then by all means, please, DM me, write your questions below. I'll definitely answer. If you like this video, you know what I'm about to say. Click like, yeah, and follow, and there'll be more. I'm gonna try to do this once a week. Do not hold me to that. Because I write too, and it's, I'm a writer, so I have to, those writers out there, you understand what I'm saying. When you get that inspiration to write, it's hard to like get away from it, especially since, when you have limited time. But I will try to do once a week or once every 2 weeks. So I had to have a video about Reiki to keep the discussion going and keep everything flowing. And eventually, I will definitely do the Reiki meditations. In the meantime, if you do want to listen to one of my Reiki meditations, then go on Insight Timer and look up Latanya Hill, Latanya Hill JD, Reiki Master, and I will definitely be there, and you can listen to any of the Reiki meditations. And also, for those people who are just starting out with Reiki, or who are interested in learning a little bit more, I have a book that's coming out called Reiki Vibrations. It's out now. You can get it on Amazon. It's Reiki Vibrations with 33 meditations and affirmations. And I give a brief history about Reiki. And I have a discussion in the book about how my Reiki journey, and how I ended up being where I am, and also the things that you need to pay attention to and look out for and be aware of when you start this energy field. It is no joke. I'm not kidding. It's a beautiful thing, but it's work, and sometimes it can get scary, and sometimes it can be a little freaky, and most of the times it's enjoyable, and it's happiness, and it's pleasure, and it's just goodness. It's absolute goodness. Even the scary stuff, honestly, is goodness. You just have to get adjusted to seeing things in a different way, spiritually, and not just material. Not 3D, but a higher level. And also the book gives you, like I said, 33 meditations and affirmations. And these meditations are very detailed. They basically tell you what to do from the time you're in the room, and what to say, and how to do it, and how long. And of course, you can change it up as you want. But definitely for new Reiki healers or people who are interested, or people who just like to do meditations, those meditations are great. I use them in my sessions. I of course use Reiki with them, but those people who aren't Reiki healers, then just go ahead and use them regularly as you would a regular meditation, and it's fine. And then the affirmations, again, in the session, sometimes the spirit calls for affirmations, and so these are some affirmations that you can use in your session or just with your meditations, period. I'm gonna tell you, when I say that these meditations and affirmations are spiritually guided, they were definitely spiritually guided. It took a while to write those and to come up with those, because I had to go into meditation and I had to cleanse and I had to Reiki myself and ask, what do you want me to write? What is a good meditation for releasing childhood trauma? What's a good meditation for releasing negativity? What's a good meditation for, bringing joy into your life? Things like that. Like I had to, whatever topic that it was, I literally spent days trying to, getting like how to do it, like what to say and how it should go, and visualizing it, seeing it, playing over in my head, and as if I was doing it with my own clients and stuff. So these meditations are definitely like they're God sent material, and I'm saying this because that's really what it is. The meditations, the affirmations, all of it. And I say, like, in this book, like, I definitely did client testimonials, but more so not testimonials, but me just explaining like what could happen in a Reiki session with certain clients and things that you should look out for, because it's so different for each and every single person. It is very different. One person, although they may feel cold, and then you'll feel like presence in the room, like the spiritual energy flowing around the room. Another person can be very cold, and it's just their body releasing an emotional trauma. So don't do a cookie cutter type of session for people. I know a lot of folks do. You do. Don't do cookie cutter. Like, really get into it. Really go deep and understand this energy, and how, like, your finger, it is so individualistic. Even if it's the same type of situation, it's speaking in a different language. Some people see colors. Some people hear music. Some people, like I say, they see visual things like angels or people or faces and those type of things. Sometimes, like I say, it scares folks. Someone asked me today, what does an angel look like? And I said, whatever you want that angel to look like. And it's true. We have these pictures of angels that are just like, the wings and this and that. And so when we visualize an angel, or when we see an angel in our dream, or we get a vision of one, that's our reference point. Remember, it's just a reference point. It's not like really what they look like. But then if you ask that question, you go into really deep meditation and you ask that question, especially if you're a Reiki healer. This is what a Reiki healer is like, right? Or energy healers. If you go into that deep meditation, you ask that question, what do you really look like? And then you get this visual of something that scares you and freaks you out, even if it's just for 1 second. That moment of fear is enough for it to go away, or to change its appearance to something that's more appeasing to you, something that you like, something that you're used to, something that won't bring a negative emotion, because that's that good energy. That's that Reiki energy. It doesn't want to do anything but help you. I can tell you, and I'm speaking from experience. This is why I'm saying this. I'm speaking from experience, because I have asked, I'm like, what do you really look like? I want to know the truth. I don't care if I have this human fear that comes to me. I need you to bypass that fear and show me what you really look like. And I saw some stuff. Let me tell you, I saw some stuff, and I was just like, whoo, oh, okay. That's what you look like. And you, the thing is, I asked for it. So even though my body initially had that, like, kind of fear thing, my center, my core, my spirit, because I prepared for it, was very calm. And so I was able to see that image for a lot longer. Now you're wondering, what did you really see and what did it look like? Well, it's very weird. Let me tell you, the vision I got was this being that was just bright light, and it was like over 7 feet tall, and there was the face, just, it kept changing. It wasn't one particular face, it was multiple faces that just kept moving and changing around. And there weren't any arms. there were no arms, and there was no legs. It was just light and this like image of a face that just kept changing. And I'm gonna tell you honestly, I can't describe or even visualize now the changing faces. I just remember them changing to different things, and not necessarily human type of things, okay? And so, yeah, that was an experience. But at the same time, and here's the thing you need to pay attention to, as I told one of my clients recently, don't pay attention to the image. Pay attention to what you feel, what you sense. Are you getting a sense of peace and happiness, joy, enlightenment, serenity, love? If you get those feelings, you know you're in the presence of a creature of God, of a being of God, of great energy, beautiful, good God energy. If you get a feeling, and not the initial fear, right? Not the initial, because we see things differently. Anything that's different from us, we sort of get a little crazy. But not the initial. But if you continuously feel like that, a feeling of malevolence and hatred and envy and like murderous intent. Yes, I did say murderous intent because it can go to demonic. Okay. But we're not there yet. But if you feel that like your life, like your spirit is in jeopardy, then you know that's not Reiki, and that's not like a good presence, and that's something that you want to definitely try to remove, or to get assistance removing. But I'm telling you, that's why it's great to ask these questions in your meditation. When you try to hear, or if you start hearing that voice and you're trying to think like, is this me? Is it me talking? Or, if it's someone talking to me or something talking to me, should I pay attention to it? Is it good or is it bad? Then you need to meditate on it and see what it's saying. If what it's telling you is something that will be injurious to someone, if it will be harmful, if it will hurt someone, if it will put someone in a negative way, whether that's emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, anything that's negative and not good, I wouldn't listen to it, because it's not like a good spirit. It's not a good angel. It's what I call an angel of chaos instead of an angel of peace. But if it's something that gives you information and gives you advice that will bring peace, tranquility, again, I'm gonna keep saying this, peace, tranquility, happiness, love, goodness, and it's bringing it to you and to someone else, then you listen to it. If it's something that will resolve an issue or a problem in your life in a peaceful, calm way, you listen to it, because that's that angel of goodness, that's that being of goodness, that's that spiritual entity of goodness that wants to help you. And that's what you should listen to. So this could happen, by the way, like when you're in the session and when you're out of a session. So don't think just because, I'm done with the session, I don't have to feel this anymore. No, it's going to continue, because the door is open. And once that door is open, things happen. Things happen and things come. And, you know, and if you want the door closed, the door will close. You just say it like, I don't want this. I want it closed. I want it done. And it'll close. And the veil returns, you know, it comes back and it's done. You don't have to worry about it. That's all. You're back into the world and you're out of that spiritual space. But I'm gonna tell you, you're being in the spiritual space is a good place to be, because you get the benefit of both. You can be in this world, but not of this world. And you Christians know what I mean by that, you know, in this world, but not of this world. So, I think, like, I guess that's enough. I think that's enough that I've talked about. I mean, you know, I really hope that this was something that spoke to you, spoke to your heart, because honestly, I'm speaking from my heart. I'm speaking from my spirit. I'm speaking as I'm getting the information coming to me, you know, and so I hope that it's reached somebody out there and that someone will understand what I'm saying and you'll pass the message along and someone else will understand and you just will get it, because we are moving into a new world and it's not necessarily the world that people want it to be. It's a world where we will start developing and seeing our different gifts and using them. And when I say not the world where people want it to be, meaning like those people who want it to go back to the way it was or stay at a certain level, but you know, we're elevating and we are growing. And it's time to understand more than just that physical in front of us. So with that being said, I'm gonna wish you a good day or a good night or a good morning, depending on where you are. And again, I will definitely try to do this once a week or twice a month. Don't hold me to too much, okay? Again, because I write. So, and I have other jobs. I work a lot. But I'm definitely, you know, and I have my clients and everything else. And I definitely love Reiki, if you haven't noticed by this video. And others, I'm definitely a Reiki aficionado, and I love it so much. And it's done so much for my life. And I just want to share it with other people. So again, if you like, go ahead and click that button on liking it, and then follow and share. So have a great night. Thank you so much, and bye. From like my heart chakra to yours, always. I send you Reiki, love, and healing. Take care, you guys. Bye.